So Terence Crawford and Errol Spence was on First Take with Stephen A. Smith. You know, kind of like really officially kicking off this promo. And I got some things from both of them. Very interesting interview. Shout out to Stephen A. Smith for doing that. Very good uh, interaction between both of these fighters. As you can see, they both have respect for each other. But there's some things that I caught while watching both of them. Like, first thing I gathered from that interview was how serious Errol Spence's face looked. He was very serious, never really cracked a smile at all. Terence Crawford was much more. They both looked relaxed, but Crawford was a little bit less, kind of like carefree almost. I got like a sense of urgency from Errol Spence rather than meant he was laser focused or worried. I don't know. But as far as Crawford, when Stephen A asked him both about the knockouts, are y'all looking for knockouts? Errol was just like, listen, if I get it, then I get it, you know, such and such and such. When they asked Bud the same thing, Bud kind of like said the same thing Errol said, but Bud went a little further and was just like, listen, you know what my knockout streak in the welterweight division ain't perfect for nothing. He's like, if I get him hurt, I'm going for the knockout. So that's what it is. So right there, Terence Crawford already, to me, seemed much more confident in his abilities than Errol Spence did. Stephen A asked both of them about their skill set. Errol Spence's answer was a little bit more, it was a little bit passive, man. It was just like, yeah, you know, I'm not going to say I'm perfect. You know, right then and there when I heard that, I was like, okay. This dude, you know, maybe he feel like he lost a step, man. You know, Bud was just more confident in his abilities in that interview, man. Errol did. I like what Errol said. He was like, y'all know, you know, the moment I get in there, you know, I'm stepping, you know. So I was like, all right. He's like, and I hope, you know, he step too, do the same thing, bring what I bring. And I could dig that. I was feeling that. You know, so Errol got good jab in with that one on the interview. But for the most part, man, I didn't really get anything confident besides that from Errol Spence. Now, some will say Bud was too much in a joking mood. He kind of looked like he wasn't taking things serious. Errol looked like he was just ready to go in and destroy, you know. But Terence Crawford, he was just like, you know, he seemed very eager, like he can't wait for the fight. Errol Spence just seemed like, you know, he's like, yeah, you know, the fight is here. He don't seem as into it as Terence Crawford did, man. I mean, that's just my take. Everybody's opinion is gonna be different on it. That's what I gathered from it, man. And I gathered that, you know, Terence Crawford is looking like Errol Spence might, you know, when he said, you know, my style ain't perfect, you know, I think it's very good. That just seemed a little weird to me when he said that. That was a little strange, you know, but he seemed very robotic, you know what I'm saying? But that could all be in the gameplay. Maybe he's super focused. Maybe he's locked in. You know, he did look, to me, he gave me different looks. Like sometimes he looked a little concerned, a little unsure of himself. Others he looked a little bit more like ready to go up in there and chop Terence Crawford's ribs up. You know what I mean? Very seldom though, but for the most part, what I gathered from that interview was Errol Spence Jr. I don't think he's really confident in his abilities. I gathered from Terence Crawford. I'm not just saying this if just because I root for Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford just seemed more with it. He seemed more confident, more game. You know, now if Terence Crawford was in there saying stuff like Errol Spence was saying, I would have said the same thing. I would have said, Bud don't seem like he confident in himself one bit. He seemed a little nervous, or he seemed a little shaky. You know, but both of the men, they did look relaxed, but Errol just seemed like he had a You know, he just didn't look. He just looked a little. I'm not to say he didn't want to be there. He just looked a little off to me, man, for some reason. But hey, that's what I gathered from it. Still, great interview, a great start. I just wanted Errol to say a little bit more, and even Bud. Man, I wanted them to, kind of like chew each other heads up a little bit. They were a little bit more respectful towards each other. But when you're a little bit more domineering against your opponent, that sells even more. So I think in the coming days, bro, leading up to this fight, they're gonna have to be both of them. They're gonna have to be a little bit more. I mean, the fight is already gonna be a big fight. Everybody's waiting for it, but I still think they should just be a little bit more the way they was before the fight was made. When all the pictures was made. See the same way they making all them pictures, the big, the stabbing of the big fish and Crawford hiding behind the door, shaking Errol's hand. That's all good and well. But hey, listen, at least on those first initial promos that they put out, Bud put one out talking about he gonna fry this fish. Errol said it's gonna be a one-sided ass whooping. I love that. I want to see more of that talk. You know what I mean? Leading up to this thing. But nonetheless, I think the fight is still sell. I think it's gonna be a really big fight. Even if anybody activates their rematch clause, it's gonna be even bigger. Just my take. But anyway, let me know what you gathered from that Stephen A. Smith interview with Terence Crawford and Errol Spence Jr. This your boy Rebel Life Boxing. I'll catch y'all later on the next one. Peace out.